Thank you, Vice Chairman, sir. Sir, the Prevention of Corruption Act is one part of the edifice of anti-corruption legislation that the Congress Party has established over the years. This is the first, of course, but many years later we had the right to information, we had the Lokpal bill, numerous other bills that we put in place. One good thing about what this amendment is all focused on is about targeting the bribe giver. Many times we have let bribe givers get away with it, but just as Mr. Vijay Saradi pointed out, this distinction between coercive and collusive bribery needs to be clarified much more clearly. The current amendment allows 1 week for a bribe giver to report to the authorities that they had been coerced to give a bribe. That 1 week, in my view, is particularly small, and we possibly need to expand it because a large number of people interacting with government servants are possibly doing it for the first time, not in a habitual manner, and therefore they may be perturbed by these kinds of demands and the pressure put on them. They will need more time before they understand that they can go out and report this before actually giving the bribe or after having actually given the bribe because they were forced to, not because they're colluding with the bribe taker. So, this kind of fine-tuning is needed. But, Minister, sir, when you are introducing amendments to this bill, why have you not introduced an amendment which says, if there is no Lokpal, you do not need to seek permission? Because there is no Lokpal for the last 4 years under your administration. This is the kind, why is there no Lokpal? Because you found a technicality about that leader of the opposition. That technicality was not there when you wanted to amend the Delhi Police Act and bring in the CBI selection process changes. So this government's intention is to use technicalities of various kinds to subvert and sabotage the edifice of anti-corruption legislation that the UPA and the Congress have put in place over the years. Let me explain. The Minister every session lists the Whistleblowers Amendment Act. Why has he not brought it? Because that is an act which subverts and targets whistleblowers, ensures that they are neutered and we made vulnerable to all kinds of other attacks because they have to first seek that information from RTI. Alert the people whom they are blowing the whistle on. What kind of subversion and sabotage is that? That is clear that the government's intent is to ensure that anyone who wants to get away with corruption can get away with it and no one will be the wiser. Similarly, sir, with the RTI, you're seeing a lot of opposition now because in a very subtle manner they're changing the status of the information commissioners, the tenure, who has the control over the tenure and the emoluments. So all these are examples of what the government does. So when there is an issue of intent, so my concern is that the intent of the government is not honest in this case, and if you actually look across the board, you see when the finance minister talked about electoral bonds, the spin was that it would bring about transparency and and fairness and things like that. It fails the transparency test. It fails the fairness test. It ensures that the government will know who is giving money to whom and can then coerce and pressurize political contributors so that they do not help the opposition parties. So this has been the pattern, and people like us who are researchers in the past can find these patterns that emerge, saying technicalities are introduced and they will ensure that these laws are not effective. So this is why are they doing this? If we ask about the Rafale, the price, and for what changes, why were those changes in purchase precipitated? We don't have an answer. We don't get a price. The company that sells the Rafales will disclose the price in their annual report, but our government is not willing to tell the people of India why they did this and what the price we are paying for our own aircraft. So, Vyapam scam has come up. If you go to other states, India's largest state, the Chief Minister withdraws all cases against him for various kinds of riots and inciting riots, etc. The Panama Papers, no action has been taken. We can go on and on and on. And witnesses were killed. Yeah, well, witnesses have been killed. You see a variety of cases where all the witnesses have turned hostile. Why is that? Why do witnesses turn hostile? Have they suddenly lost their mind and become suffering from dementia? No, because there is pressure being put on them. There are enough cases out there of cover-up of corruption, which this government is clearly indulging in, and this act and its amendments and the efforts to use technicalities to subvert and sabotage anti-corruption legislation clearly suggests to me that what you have here is a government that is focused on the promotion of corruption rather than the prevention of corruption. And I would urge the minister, before moving forward and replying, to please look in the mirror and then realize where the corruption exists in this country and what needs to be done. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.